I do want to talk about that Taylor Hall trade because we didn't really get a chance to jump into it. Some of the stuff that's been interesting that's come out is why Ray Shero made the trade, now, rather than closer to the deadline, when perceptually you maybe could get more coming down to the deadline. And some of the prospects they got, they got their first round pick and whatever, which you would expect. That seems like
that's the best part.
Goes without saying. The prospects are not, they don't seem like they're going to be guys that are stars. And it was interesting when I read an article in The Athletic, and forgive me for who I read it by, but they basically were, it was Pierre LeBrun actually. He said that another general manager said that Ray Shero did well by that trade because rentals just aren't worth as much anymore. People have gotten smart to the whole rental thing and aren't giving up the A-plus prospects for these players anymore.
No, and for the Devils, you want to get as much as possible and you want to get more, but to me, the amount of pieces was good for them. Kevin Isabelle, doesn't project that high, according to a lot of people. Same with Nate Schnarr. And same for, who's the third prospect?
Question.
Can't remember them all off the top of my head. And then they got the first that's guaranteed and the third that could be a second or a first. It's 5 parts. Even if none of those guys end up being super duper stars, that trade is so rarely available. The Duchesne trade was a mistake. Yeah. It wasn't intended to be that way. It was a mistake. So to me, the Devils have Jack Hughes, who they're going to build around. Nico Hischier, who they've locked up and they're going to build around. So those are their stars. Those are their stars of the future. If they can fill them with... If they hit on both draft picks and those 3 guys make the NHL even as periphery contributors...
Relevant players.
That's a great way of putting it, Adam. I think that works for them. Here's also why you trade Taylor Hall early. He's played 30 games this season. He played 33 last year. 76 the year before as an MVP. 72 the year before that. 82 in his last year in Edmonton. Wow! But it was the only time he's ever done that, as far as I can tell. 53, 75, 45, although that was the lockout shortened one. 61 and 65.
So you're saying some hard miles, maybe?
Guy gets hurt a lot, man. And while he's healthy, you might as well deal him now. Don't wait for him to get hurt. If Taylor Hall gets hurt and you run at a runway for the trade deadline, it's a disaster.
Right. Although I have to say I respect the hell out of Arizona for making that deal. I know Mark said he's like, I don't see them as a cup contender. I see them as a team that needs to contend for fans. Their goal should not be winning Stanley Cups. It should be winning new fans. And not that they couldn't, but when you saw the play Taylor Hall made last night to win the game, right? And that was all him. He fought through a player, stole the puck, got it to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, back of the net. And that's what you get a Taylor Hall for. You're not getting Phil Kessel to forecheck like that. You're getting Taylor Hall to forecheck like that.
And he goes brain first into everything. He's done that since junior.
I think this is the Arizona Coyotes saying, okay, not that the cup doesn't matter, but we're the top of the division. We got to make a splash in this market. This is a great player anyway. And we've got to be able to show that this is a team worth coming to see. And they've got they're lucky right now because they were able to do it at a kind of a quiet point of the year. The Arizona Cardinals, I don't even know how they're doing this year.
They're not good.
They're not good.
No. Kyler Murray,
the Diamondbacks,
they're not good.
The Diamondbacks, I believe, just made a huge baseball signing, but they're not playing.
It'd be weird if they made a big basketball signing.
It would be weird, but they're not playing. So you're in a spot where you're sort of in a sports dead zone. So if there are sports fanatics in Arizona, of which there are many, what are they paying attention to? What are they watching? And all of a sudden, this becomes, in the news cycle, one of the top stories.
And right around Christmas, any Coyotes fan in the family, you get to go, oh, Taylor Hall, something like that. It's good for team chemistry. Get them in the lineup nice and early, get them to bond with the guys, get Phil Kessel going, because even though the Coyotes have been good, Phil Kessel has not been.
Yep. Clayton Keller's their leading goal scorer.
Chayka was probably, and which he should be, but I think Chayka was counting on the Phil Kessel trade being the one that brought offense to the team. Not quite so much.
Yeah, he struggled mightily.
Yeah, he has struggled. Still hasn't missed a bloody game. And if maybe ought to.
If plus minus matters, he's a minus 18. So Yeah, so
Okay.
At a certain point, it matters a little, right?
right when it's so egregious,
Yeah.
I feel like it should matter a little.
Like if you get into the minus 20 range, maybe there are probably other indicators before that are probably better indicators, but it might be like
Yeah.
even that's bad.
Dylan DeMello +7 on Ottawa. I go, whatever. And he's second on that team. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, +18. What?
Probably matters.
Probably matters.
Matters just
if
a
you're
little bit.
leading the division and you're -18, it's not a very good sign.
One thing about New Jersey too, they were specifically looking for defense prospects.
Yeah.
and they got it.
Didn't they only get one?
Yeah, well,
it
they
Ball?
got Ball is who they're looking for. They're looking for Vince Dunn out of St. Louis, but that
wasn't gonna happen.
was never going to happen.
No.
But they got what they were looking for. To
I bet
fill
it
up
would've
their
been-
prospect system.
To get him to Edmonton, it would have been Ethan Bear.
Yeah,
At least.
At
I
least.
was-
Ethan Bear
yeah,
plus.
he's got to be part of it.
But
And-
and Edmonton's not giving that up. There's no way.
No.
You might do you even give up a Caleb Jones? Like I don't think you do.
And, I defended Vegas when they were just throwing around picks like a drunken sailor. The Coyotes can sort of do that too. Like they got that first-round pick for the ghost of Pavel Datsuk. That's cheating.
that's a
basically-
free pick.
It's
Yeah.
a free pick. Like
Yeah.
it's not cheating,
Oh,
but
so-
it is free.
So that's
It's like the
Detroit
Marlowe pick that
Yeah.
left. Yeah,
That's the
free
Detroit pick. that they gave him. Isn't it?
yes, yeah.
Well,
And I can't remember.
But
if
I mean that
was Chychrun.
projects to be a pretty good pair.
It was Chychrun or Keller. I can't remember which one of those two it turned into. I think it was Chychrun. So the team's not old. It's got some young guys. The defense is a little here and there when it comes to age. But you got arguably the best goalie in the league this season right now. You have one of the most underrated pairings back there with Goligoski and who's he with? I can't remember. They need goals. Why not go out and get Taylor Hall? I like it.
I'm
it
a
was
little-
their own first round pick.
It was their own. Yeah, I got
not the
confused
Detroit
there.
one.
But they had the extra first round pick from Detroit, I think is what you were saying, right?
They
Yes,
don't have it anymore.
Sorry, they had in recent years.
Had
Yes,
in
Sorry,
recent
in
years.
recent
I
years.
see what
Yes,
you're saying. Sorry, I got
yeah, I
confused
was
by
also
that.
confused.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
checked
okay,
it.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm looking at the Jersey roster right now, and the thing that is surprising to me is now we keep hearing, it's not going to be a fire sale. It's not going to be a fire sale. This roster is
not?
primed for a fire sale.
Yeah.
This New Jersey should be what Detroit is now next year.
Who's UFA, Jesse?
Forget who's even UFA.
It's just
Just guys that you should move on from.
Right.
Zajak's making $5.75. I don't think you're going to get a taker for him though.
That's the problem.
Simmons is at $5 million and it's 1 year.
That's
You can retain on Simmons at $2.5 million.
yes.
There's value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Palmieri's got 2 more years at 4.6. You've got Nikita Gusev. You probably want to hang on to him. And then on the defense, PK is obviously the first guy you look at. He's got 2 more years after this one. But Andy Green and Sammy Vatanen are both guys that are up. Andy Green is the captain. He's got a no trade. He's 37, but he gives you some experience on the left side. Same with Sammy Vatanen. People really like Sammy Vatanen. I wonder if, at this point, why wouldn't you try to find some assets, try to find some value?
Yeah, why not take advantage of your bad season and instead of trying to salvage something out of it, just sell off all these guys who look like they won't be a part of the future when you're actually good.
You also don't want to completely burn it to the ground like Buffalo a few years ago. Like they're just recovering from that now.
Well, if you do it smartly and you hit on some of the pieces that you trade for when you burn it to the ground, then it won't be Buffalo.
that slow.
It'll be the Leafs where it's a quick turnaround. Mm-hmm. If you
What
hit
about
on
this?
Matthews, Nylander,
They got
Marner,
2 first
Right.
picks this year.
What about this? Keep most of your guys. Get a freaking goalie.
also
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Stop a puck. One of them. Ever. Mm-hmm. That's what they need, man.
They've traded their second and third round picks with PK.
Oh,
So
Nashville did well there.
This is why I think that they should sell. They should sell some of these guys.
Yeah.
Some
like-
of them. Don't burn it to ash.
You couldn't get you probably could get a second for Sammy Vatanen and a third for Andy Green. But
Why are you so against that? Burning to ash.
I worry because now you're committed to a rebuild. You got a GM who
commit
if
to
you're-
something. They haven't committed
agree.
anything.
The
I agree with that.
waffling thing is the problem.
I agree with that, but Ray Shero cannot rebuild the Devils. You can't allow him to. He's the one who screwed this up.
So bring in someone new.
Yes, absolutely. Like to me, if you're going to rebuild, we have to have another conversation first, which is firing Ray Shero. So Simmons only being on the 1 year, I didn't realize. For some reason, I thought he signed for 3. Yeah, he's the perfect candidate to trade off. And maybe those 2 guys on D. Because, I mean, anyone who's not going to stick around, you got to get rid of.
Yeah.
Anyone with term, I don't know how easy it is to lure guys in New Jersey. You know what? Go get Kovalchuk.
Listen, if you're in New Jersey, you're across the bridge from New York City. I think it's not that hard to lure people to it.
Yeah,
it's the cheaper.
Why live across the street from
Because
New York
it's
City?
where families live.
Right.
When you work in Manhattan, you live in New Jersey. That's where the families live. And so a lot of these
believe
guys would love to be able to jump into the city and go out for a night out. But I can tell you they probably don't want to live in it. And, you actually can get a house in New Jersey.
I think New Jersey's a very attractive market
Yeah.
for people to play in, yeah.
Who's listening to this in New York traffic right now? I want to know that.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know
you
why
take-
I looked into
you
the
take-
camera.
Send us a
If
picture.
you're looking at me dead in the eyes, you're driving dangerously.
Take the
Stop
subway.
that.
They
Yes.
take the subway. I'm taking the subway.
Gotcha.